You're listening to Navid Moosa of the Mindset Movement. Good day, good people. My name is Navid Moosa. I'm your host today and always for the Mindset Movement. Each and every week, we try to bring you value to your growth. New listeners, thanks for the opportunity for earning your trust. Hopefully you enjoy it. Long-time listeners, thanks for your loyalty. We appreciate you guys as well, if not more. Listen, we get into it right away. So this week, we're going to talk about enabling and the thin line of enabling. So previous week, I spoke about support system and how a support system, there's a balance, right? That you don't want to support in a way that becomes enabling. And I didn't go too much into it because I wanted to do this separate podcast about it. It was the thin line between support and enabling, essentially. When we enable somebody, sometimes, most times, we don't realize it. We really think we're doing good by them. We think we're supporting them. We think we're helping them. We think they're assisting them in their growth or whatever they're going through. And when we hear the word enabling, obviously it has a negative connotation. And I get it, because you're enabling somebody to stay on their path. And if it's a negative path, you're basically promoting that that's a good path to be on for them. But more times than not, we don't realize that. So how do we realize when we're supporting and we're enabling? It's really not that hard. Okay, at least in my opinion, it isn't. Life is somewhat simple. It's based off of two principles: happy, not happy, right? So what makes it difficult is the definitions of those two words, because there's some people with sick, twisted minds out there, and that makes them happy, right? So what we have to look at is, in my opinion, when you are put in the position, whether it be knowingly or unknowingly, to support somebody and something they want to do, you need to just ask yourself, okay, what exactly are they asking me to do? What kind of support are they needing from me? Is it support to give them money so they can go feed a habit? Is it support that they can call me whenever they want, 24/7, 7 days a week, so when they need a shoulder to cry on or an ear to bend, I can be there for them? And that's also why they choose you, why me? In the episode that when I talk about support, I talked about how when we pick people for support, we usually pick them because we see them interact with somebody else. But what we do not do is evaluate the person they're interacting with. Is that person the same as you? Because if they're not, then that support won't work, right? So when you are, like I said, knowingly or unknowingly tapped to be a support person for somebody, you really need to kind of put them in underneath the light and be like in the spotlight and be like, hey, listen, it's a little interrogation. Why'd you pick me? I mean, I'm honored and I appreciate it, but what exactly are you hoping to get from this? And let me tell you, that's a very uncomfortable question to ask. And it's very uncomfortable to be asked that question as well. And the reason why I say that with so much confidence is I remember earlier on in my career when I would follow so many people on social media and I would see some of these people doing so many bigger projects than I was at the time, that I would say, hey, can we hop on a phone call and talk to you about some things, and they were like, sure. The question, what we would discuss. What are you hoping to get from the conversation and what will I get out of the conversation? And I was taken back. I was like, holy shit, I've never been asked that before. Because I'm used to it, hey, let's grab some lunch. Let's talk shop. Let's bullshit a little bit. Okay, fine. But now you have a complete stranger who's not in a lunchable area, right? They're a different time zone, and you're seeing all these progress they're making, and you're asking them for their advice, free advice. And they're like, we can talk, but what do you want to talk about? And what am I going to get out of it? And that happened once, and it happened again with different people, and it happened half a dozen times. I'm like, holy shit. What I noticed was that at first I was offended, right? Like, who the hell, why wouldn't you just take my phone call kind of ridiculous? Then it was like, oh, I'm getting it. If I keep talking to people about something, they're essentially enabling my habit of just being a bullshitter, just talking about it. That's it. But by them actually saying, well, what am I going to get out of it? I'm going to talk to you. You're going to pick my brain. You're going to get information, but what's in it for me? I had to go back to the drawing board and be like, damn, what am I going to provide for this person? And it wasn't just for them, it was for anybody. Anytime I want to sit down and say, hey, can I talk to you about something? What am I going to bring to the table? It has to be a two-way street. And I think that's the difference between a support and enabling. When you enable, it's not a two-way street, it's a one-way street. You are strictly enabling somebody to keep on their path. A support system is a two-way street. You're supporting each other. Because although you're there to support them, you're also hoping to grow because you're supporting them in whatever they're doing. They're growing mentally and business-wise as well, hopefully. And as they're growing, their mindset is growing as well. So they may look at things differently than you. And they may come back to you and talk to you about them and be like, I've never thought of it that way. So now you're learning from them. So a support system is a two-way street. Enabling is a one-way street. And don't get me wrong, like I said earlier on, enabling has a negative connotation because usually when you're enabling somebody, you're like, you're just, you're whatever it is that's disabling them or crippling them is what you're going to keep supporting that path. But enabling can also be positive, right? You've just enabled a person to maybe purchase their first home, purchase their first car, go to college, learn to read or something like that by giving them tutor lessons, whatever it may be. But that's a two-way street. That's not enabling in its traditional format, if you will, right? Because you've enabled somebody to learn to read, for example, that in turn makes you feel better. That in turn, you have now put good out to the universe. You've done something good. To give the opportunity for someone to learn how to read is amazing, right? I'm just using that as an example. So it's that blurry line that, well, I'm going to help them out. They need help. They need help. They need help. Okay, they do need help, but they need your support. They don't need you to enable them. And that at time, that line does get blurred. We forget ourselves because we think with emotion, right? It's very natural. We think with our emotion, with our heart, saying, oh, they're such a good person. And they're not that they're bad people, but being a good person isn't enough. Are they somebody who wants to learn? Are they somebody who wants to actually legit change for the better? Someone who actually wants to grow their business. So how are you going to do that? That's what support pops in. So it's not that difficult at times, but maybe it's not as easy depending how you are and how you think and where you at emotionally, mentally. So, but that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you find this podcast helpful. And if you haven't, listen to the previous episode about support. I think that'll help tie in this episode as well. So anyways, each and every weekend, the kind of same way, just do right by the client. Seriously, do right by the client. Everything else will fall in place. You take care of the client. You take care of their needs. You support what it is their goal is. You support that client, and then everything else will fall in place. I promise you that. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other. Have a great week. See you guys next week. Take care.